So welcome to all of you in video based IT training. In this video, I'm going to explain about the virtual memory. To configure the virtual memory in either Windows 7, Windows 8 or Windows 10. So if your system is working very slow after installing any proper application, or if you're not installed any application, still your system is working very slow, so this video can be very helpful for you to troubleshoot that issue. That can be the one reason that I'm going to explain you why we require the virtual memory in every system nowadays. So nowadays the operating system as well as the applications need a lot of RAM in the system to work properly and run, especially because nowadays we have to run multiple applications and multiple process simultaneously. I have to start doing some video recording or editing. It requires a lot of RAM. So especially when we need to run multiple applications and multiple process, and system does not have a sufficient RAM space to load all the application program data into the memory, then the system becomes very slow to perform. As you know, nowadays we have so many heavy applications require a lot of data to process to run properly. They require a lot of RAM, but system physical memory have a limited amount of RAM. That can be the 2 GB, that can be the 4 GB depending on the system. So in that case, if our system does not have a sufficient RAM to load the application program data into the memory, then system starts performing very slow. So in an operating system, it is possible that application is too large to load into the RAM. Thus, if we need some mechanism that allow the execution of the process that is not completely in the memory, so we require some kind of mechanism that allow the execution of process. That process can be executed even if the complete data of the application is not loaded into the main memory. Let's try to explaining more. Suppose for example, in every system main thing is the processor, RAM is the temporary storage, and hard disk is the permanent storage. Suppose it's my processor, sorry, something happened wrong. Again need to draw processor, RAM and hard disk. So this processor, it is RAM, and it is the hard disk. So if you know processor process all the data, so this data has been taken from RAM like this. So whatever the data required by the processor, it asks the data from the RAM. So if we have the sufficient RAM in the system, it can load all the application data. As soon as we power on the computer, whatever the necessary file required by the RAM get copied into the RAM from the hard disk. Even the operating system file that normally required by the processor to keep running the operating system get loaded into the one copy goes to the RAM. After that, as much as application we start, all the data goes into the RAM from the hard disk. If our RAM does not have sufficient space to save all the data or to keep the copy of entire data of all the application that we are running as well as the operating system, then this RAM need again to communicate with the hard disk. This RAM need to communicate for small data it will take, goes away, fed the data to the processor, it again requires the new data, then it again come to the hard disk. But our hard disk is a mechanical device, so it cannot feed the data at so much high speed to the RAM, and RAM does not have the sufficient data to feed into the processor. So naturally our entire system becomes slow. Okay, so in this condition, when our system does not have a sufficient RAM, we require any of the processor. That process can be executed in fast mode if the data is not into the main memory. So that solution is called the virtual memory. The solution is the virtual memory. Even if we don't have so much amount of RAM that it can load all the data, it can take all the data, still by using the virtual memory we can increase the system performance, which has been accepted by almost all the modern operating systems. So what is this virtual memory? How we can use it? So virtual memory is a method of using the computer hard drive to provide more memory to the computer. The part or segment of the memory are stored onto the hard disk, that known as the page. Okay, means that portion, that data in the RAM is not used so frequently, that can be saved into the hard disk at a separate place, and that is known as the page file. So when the segment of the memory is requested from the hard disk that is not in the primary memory, it is moved from virtual memory to RAM. Rather than keep searching the entire hard disk platter and sectors, entire platter, track and sector, there is a fixed space in the hard disk you can reserve, so that temporary data that is not required by the RAM right now but frequently used can be saved in that part of hard disk. So whenever RAM requires the data, RAM directly contact here, can take the data and move into the RAM. So because it is automatic process, you don't know what is happening. It computer feel like it has an unlimited amount of RAM because that part is reserved in the hard disk as a RAM. So means in normal language, what I can say, to virtualize some part of my hard disk as a RAM. I will virtualize my hard disk as a RAM to perform the system faster, because hard disk is much cheaper than the RAM chip, so it is also economical for you. Okay, so area that store the RAM is called the page file. I will show that practically also. It holds the page of the RAM on the hard disk, and the operating system move data back and forth between the page and the RAM. In window mechanism, it is known as the SWP file that I will show you. So whenever we configure the hard disk, when we configure the virtual memory as a hard disk in the hard disk, it will create a virtual page file.sys file there to store all the data into the hard disk. So let's see practically now. Like this is my system. It's looking too dark, huh? Now, how we can verify the virtual memory? Go to my computer, property, go to advanced system setting, again into the advanced, go to the performance, again go to the advanced. Here you can see virtual memory is the option. Okay. So by default you can see here, even if We don't configure the virtual memory manually. Still, our operating system keep managing the virtual memory. But still you are observing system is working slow. So what you can do? You can manage it according to your requirement. So when you do this, you can see here it is saying that you have 52 GB of space free to configure as a virtual. So depending on my requirement, I can give any size like 4096 to 8192. So you cancel it again. I will show you right now. By default it is taking the 4 GB, around 4 GB of RAM. So what can I do? I can configure it according to my requirement. Set, okay, but now it need to restart the system. Apply, okay, restart now. Yes. In the meantime, I will pause the recording. Now we can check it again. Go to properties, go to advanced system setting, go to setting, advanced. Now you can see here it has been changed now. Okay, so minimum now it is working 4096, but maximum it can go up to 8142. How can you verify? As soon as you configure it, just I want to show you that also. Go to control panel, folder options, view, show hidden file and folder, and enable it. Now you can check it. There is one file known as pagefile.sys. Now you can see here there is one file known as a pagefile.sys that is used as a virtual memory by the RAM to store all the data. So hope this is informative for you. It will really help to increase your system performance by configuring the virtual memory. Thank you.